Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenore and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Virgo. If Virgo is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so our card tonight is the Ace of Cups. The Holy Grail. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. All right. Well, I hope you all are doing so well. It's been a beautiful couple of days here. A little less rain. It's been a very rainy spring. I can't complain. I love a rainy day, a good thunderstorm. But we've had some sun, and that's been nice. Okay, let's see. It looks like we have... now I'm looking at this as a J because it's so rounded. I know it's it's reverse, but I'm going to say it's a J and a 2. Okay? J and a 2. Now over here it kind of looks like H2, J2. Now I have no idea what that would mean. Reminds me of like, I think in high school, our lockers, because we had different hallways or whatever sides of the hall. I don't remember exactly what it was, but yeah, they were numbered that way. I don't remember the number of I don't even think I ever used my locker. I can't even remember using it really. Okay, let's see. We also have now it looks like we have some kind of animal. I kind of am reading this as, it reminds me of, I always get these paintings mixed up. It's a Goya painting. It's the Black Sabbath, I think, where the witch is riding across the sky on a goat. But I'm always... Maybe I'm thinking, I think the Black Sabbath one is maybe the one where they're around the fire and then the goat is, sitting with them. But yes, classic imagery of kind of the feral, the outsider, the wild woman, the woman in touch with her own sacred, divine, feminine consciousness, that mixture of Sophia and Lilith, activated, fully whole, right? Beyond duality. So many different aspects of, being beyond morals and ethics, right? And that is kind of seen in these women of magic. Oracles, sorceresses, witches, high priestess, devotees, whatever. All of these different forms of kind of ecstatic and haughty and uninhibited, right? So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, yeah, this is a fully engaged being. This is a being who is shedding the skins of conventionality, right? Letting go of those restrictions, those conditionings. Now, I think for the common person, the profane, as they're called in initiation, there's an aspect of deviance, and it's so highlighted. Now that might be part of it, right? But it's not the whole picture. It's such a fragment. This is a creator. This is one who exists without having to be seen, beyond the need to be witnessed or observed. And that's scary. That's scary for people. Because we live in a world, a culture, a tribalism that it's all about what is your position within the collective? What do you do for the whole of all of us? And that has to be seen. It needs to be recognized. To gain elevation, right? To be kind of promoted within our culture. Well, these who opt out of involvement in that kind of race, this can be a dangerous person. At least perceived to be so, because they're pursuing their own authentic being. It doesn't matter what people think. It doesn't matter what they can give you or take away. You are your own. Nobody has anything on you, right? Nobody gets to tell you yes or no. You can't do that. You shouldn't do that. Why would you do that? No. You live in your own reality, in your own world. You move with intention. Not out of malice, not out of greed. If anything, there's a sense of being more at ease and working together with the greater, beyond, human consciousness, right? With the greater environment. And this is why we see a lot of these archetypes as being very earthen or elemental, right? Because they are extensions of nature. They are nature. They are personifications. And now, as we develop, or maybe it is that we dissolve away aspects of our personas, we go back to these very fundamental archetypes. And so I feel that this work here for you is that it is the return to earth. It is a return to that prima materia, that original soil. You are working with something deep within you. Now, are you concerned with the mundane? Of course you are. The day-to-day tasks and tediums? Yes, of course you are. But that's not what you're limited to. And I look at this and I know, and it's not just because I'm a Virgo, right? I am your Virgo kin. But I look at this and I see a profound being doing profound work. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so we do have the satyr right here. You can see kind of the head, the body, kind of in this seated position. We also have a boat. So there is a movement of energies. And it is chosen. I feel that, and this is very much in line with this Ace of Cups, there feels to be this turn towards sensuality, towards closeness with that ecstatic divinity, with that thing that kind of creeps into your life sometimes, where, yeah, you want to express your creative nature, your sensualities, your desires. I feel, I think as a Virgo, we're pretty open. We're pretty, I would say, we're open, we're giving, we're receptive, we're devoted. I think we're honest and realistic and sometimes maybe even to some maybe seem kind of plain a little bit, right? I think of Virgo as being these kind of very earthy tones, but not even just earthy, but kind of wearing, a lot of like black and like skin tone type clothing. A lot of very kind of simplified, right? Not overly ostentatious. And I feel like that is kind of our philosophy in most things. It doesn't have to be showy. It's whatever the thing is, whatever we are, is so beautiful, even if it's not conventional, right? It's so beautiful that there's no need to dress it up. It just is what it is, what it is. And I think that, when we get into these moments of the kind of twisting and turning of that sensuality, and that's what I can think of it as, really. It's kind of, if you imagine this landscape, and I think of recently Iceland, right? If you've seen the images of Iceland when the volcanoes are erupting or they are getting ready to, it's this kind of very glacial, very downtoned landscape. It's beautiful, it's rich looking, but it is, it's quite empty, I guess you would say. And that in contrast to this opening that is full of molten lava that is so bright, so fiery, so, shifting and moving. It is both water, it is both earth, it is both fire, right? And it is something fierce. This is what I imagine as this shift into creative force, the sensuality. And so I look at this and I feel there's a time here where, I feel that you're really advocating for this part of self. The want, the need to connect. And maybe it is that satyr that comes out in you. Now, if you don't know what a satyr is, it is akin to the god Pan. The species of, creature. Half human, half goat. Now, it's usually that they are chasing around the nymphs of the forest. But it is really so much about that virility, that fertility, that thing that takes hold of you, the wildness, losing grasp on good behavior, right? And that's not to say it's so wild you're out of control, no, but there is a sense of cracking open and letting it all kind of spill out. And so this is a beautiful time. This is a beautiful time, and it is a most blessed time to be in that mode of making, experiencing, taking in those sensations, those impressions, honoring them, not judging them, not worrying about them. As long as we move in a way where we are taking care of one another, right? We're not hurting each other. We're not taking advantage of one another. But we are allowing ourselves to be the beings that we are. You know, it's easy for us to take on so many labels. And I myself have this problem. I've said on here I'm in recovery. I'm an addict. I have had substance abuse issues in my past. I've been, abstinent, sober for over 8 years. I got my 8 years recently. And though I know it's important to keep that in mind, right? And all the things that I do, because I know I'm a compulsive, obsessive person. I live in a place where, I'm trying to get away from the shame, the guilt, and doing things that induce shame and guilt. For so much of my life, that's where I lived. I was doing things, living in such a way that was embarrassing for me. It's not easy to be in addiction. We all know that. So as a person who is kind of trying to heal, I try to live every day where I'm not doing things that feel shameful. I'm not hiding things. I'm not lying about things. I'm not, trying to... the sneakiness, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not just, I know I'm going on about me, but the real point is that we put these labels on ourselves. So I identify myself. I'm an addict. How helpful is that though? I don't know. I know it's something I know a lot about. It's something I can talk about. I also know a lot about, letting it go and moving into a different place in my life. And so when I see the boat, this often evokes this feeling in me. It makes me think sometimes we have to let go of these old chapters of our life. Now, there are certain things where, we have to remember, I don't want to go down that pitfall again. I don't want to fall down the hole. I don't want to go tumbling in. So I have to remind myself. But there are times when it can be so limiting for us to hold on to these ideas of, I don't do that. I would never do that. I don't understand what that is, so I reject it. And us as a Virgo, I think we have a tendency to sometimes do that. We can be quite self-limiting. But when we go through these phases of growth, of evolution, of peeling away at, I think we realize these are our defense mechanisms. These are the things, the walls that we've kind of built up around ourselves. And sometimes we need to at least leave the little castle and go out into the woods. We need to see some things. We need to feel some things. We need to, be close down to the earth. And so I feel, you know, this is a time where things are happening for you. You're feeling, I don't know, a sense of elation, of attraction, of devotion, of, I can imagine the whirling dervish, this ecstatic expression of agape, of love for the divine, of to be loved by the divine. And so we have an E, an E, an E. Lots of E's. So what does this have to do with? Do you know somebody with an E name? Is this a word that keeps coming up? We also have it looks like an A right here. We do have, it looks like a goddess figure here with the head and a child. So I do feel like there is this kind of return. I saw a thing the other day. It said on top, looking for the, or searching for the divine, question mark. And had a list of different things where the divine might lay. One was like seasonal fruit. And some other things. And then one said a playlist from your teen years. And so I do feel this kind of movement into enjoying the things that you did when you were younger. Maybe you've come across the movie that you watched a lot when you were a kid and you put it on and you were transported to that feeling you had when you were, you know, I don't know, 13, 14 years old. That weird space of time when you're still a kid, but you're also, you know, fighting to get to that adulthood, want to be taken seriously and make your own choices, but you can't yet really. And so there's still this belovedness of experience that only happens when you are in that transitional age group, right? Where there's not so many responsibilities, you have a lot of time to explore. And you find things that are so beautiful and so haunting and so sad and so, you know, evokes that feeling of love, that first love, those pangs of elation. And it's funny too, I just bought yesterday, I went past Old Navy and I haven't been in there in years, but I went in and I was looking for shirts for, shout out to my husband over there at Dove and Serpent Tarot, my husband Paul. I don't think he'd mind telling me or saying this, but I pick out most of his clothes. And I am that wife that's always like, okay, I bought you some shirts, try on what you like and I'll take back the rest. But I went in there looking for some summer shirts for him, and immediately I saw they had a Smashing Pumpkins Infinite Melancholy shirt, or Infinite, whatever the title is, I always forget. The Melancholy Infinite Sadness, is that what it is? Anyways, it was one of the first CDs I ever bought for myself. When I was a kid, I was, I don't know, maybe 12 or 13. And that album still hits so deep whenever I put it on. So I got the shirt and I said, heck yeah, I'm never going to wear this, but I got to have it. I don't really wear band shirts as much as I used to. But I have a bunch of them. So that definitely vibes with me too. This feeling of reminiscing. Okay, so we have a werewolf and we have a heart. Look at that. We have the werewolf and we have the heart. We also have a 2 again. There's a 2 showing up once more. So I do feel, do you remember that movie, Bram Stoker's Dracula? The one from the 90s that had Gary Oldman and Winona Ryder. And anyways, in part of the film, he turns into this wolf, right? And he goes and he visits the friend Lucy and he's in the gardens and, you know, so on. And there's this feeling of that night side, that stormy, beautiful kind of macabre English garden. The hedges and the, you know, the little benches and, you know, whatever, all that. And he's out there, you know, ravenous and wild and this beast, right? And there's a repulsion to that. But there's also the curiosity and the belovedness, the attraction, right, to that most primal and base and untamable thing. And I feel this. This is, I mean, it runs through the energy of this whole reading to me, is this turn towards that thing that is hard to let out, that thing that we hide about ourselves, that we keep for private, you know, in our sacred hidden places. And you know, sometimes rightfully so. Sometimes that stuff definitely, I think, in kind of the silence of our own temple, there is I don't know, there's something so potent about it. It's such a potent thing to experience in that way. Now, that's not to say that, you know, we can't express it. I support these, you know, I support those who can, right? Not so much a Virgo thing, but some of the other signs, right? Scorpio, Gemini, you know, some of these other signs, really, even Leo, I would say, good at expressing these things. But, you know, so I do feel there's this movement towards this, I mean, real, you know, the other way you could say it is, what was that movie called? Like, Stella's got her groove back or whatever. I know I'm aging myself using that reference, but, you know, you probably know what I'm talking about. So, yes, this kind of getting back into that sensuality, you know, and it doesn't have to be expressed with other people. Let me just say that to you. You might be like, nah, this is not it, Lenore, not it. This is not. I'm not looking for anybody else right now. Well, listen, it does not have to be with anybody else, okay? All right, so we have the Wild Offering Oracle cards, and I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to flip through. I'm going to stop where it feels right here. Okay. And it says calmness. Okay. The inner divine is the witness of all. Remain still and quiet, even during intense turbulence. So take a deep breath and then say, quiet my mind, dear Lord. May your peaceful calm take over. May your peaceful calm take over. Beautiful. All right, Virgo, I'm going to tell you I love you because I do. And I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let me know or let me know. It'll let you know, not me. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. I already know. I'm putting them on there. And if you want to leave a comment, please do. I read them all. And I love hearing from you. And so with that, again, I'll tell you, I love you. Take care of yourself. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, or had one. I guess this is coming out on Sunday. And my goodness, we are right in that movement towards the solstice. It's coming up real quick here. So I'd love to hear about, what are you doing? How do you celebrate? I haven't thought about it yet. I know we're going to feast and hopefully, you know, do a little dancing, have maybe a little bonfire. I'm really excited about that. And hopefully not get bit up by mosquitoes. It has been wild. We moved near there's like a whole bunch of lakes around here. And we live with a lake in the backyard. And mosquito central. So I'm getting to planting things and trying out, you know, different oils and stuff. Trying to get it together because, yeah, mama's legs bit up. So, but yeah, thankfully, they don't like smoke. So if we have a fire, it won't be so bad. All right, Virgo, I love you. Take care of yourself, and we'll talk real soon.